The night sky above the Tokyo Dome shimmered with electricity as fans packed into every seat, waving team towels and chanting in unison. It was Game 2 of the SMBC Japan Series 2025, and both teams entered with the weight of expectation pressing down like never before. The first game had already set the tone, tight, tactical, and emotional. But no one was prepared for what would unfold in the second inning tonight. The game began cautiously, both starting pitchers testing their command and nerves. Every fastball was followed by a deep breath from the crowd, every breaking ball by a roar or sigh depending on its fate. The first inning passed without a run, each side measuring the other's rhythm. The real story, however, was waiting to explode in the bottom of the second. The leadoff batter stepped in with a look of calm determination. The opposing pitcher, a right-hander known for his sinker, threw his first pitch low and inside, but it was driven sharply through the right side for a single. The crowd erupted, sensing an opportunity. That sound, the sudden thunder of 40,000 fans rising together, set off a chain reaction that would soon become unforgettable. The next batter laid down a perfect bunt, advancing the runner and drawing applause from the benches. A classic small ball move, executed with precision. The dugout was alive with energy, players leaning over the railing, clapping and shouting encouragement. It was the kind of moment that felt like the ignition point of something special. Then came the hit that truly broke the silence. A line drive screamed off the bat into the left center gap, easily scoring the runner from second. The scoreboard flickered, 1-0. But even before the cheering subsided, the offense wasn't done. The crowd could feel it, the air was thick with momentum. The pitcher looked rattled. He took a deep breath, tried to settle himself, but the home team smelled blood. The next batter, a veteran slugger known affectionately as Dosukoi, for his powerful swing and sumo-like stance, dug into the box. The first pitch came, a hanging slider, and he didn't miss. The crack of the bat echoed through the dome, a deep booming sound that silenced even the rival fans for a split second. The ball soared high and deep into the stands, disappearing into a sea of flashing lights and waving towels. The crowd exploded, pure, unfiltered joy. Dosukoi. Chants filled the air as the big man rounded the bases, pounding his chest and pointing to the sky. The dugout emptied, teammates greeting him at home plate with smiles, shouts, and slaps on the helmet. Now the scoreboard read 3-0, but the inning wasn't over. The energy had shifted entirely. The opposing manager called for time, walking to the mound to calm his pitcher, but the home fans weren't letting up. The noise never stopped. Every pitch, every swing, carried the weight of the moment. When play resumed, the next hitter worked a walk. Then came another single, followed by a sharp grounder that just slipped under the third baseman's glove. Another run scored. The rally was snowballing, and there was no stopping it. By the time the fifth batter of the inning stepped up, the crowd was in a frenzy. You could feel the vibration of the stands beneath your feet, like an earthquake made of excitement. The pitcher tried to go outside, but the hitter went with it, slapping a double down the right field line. 2 more runs crossed the plate. 6 runs in 1 inning. A statement of intent. The camera panned to the dugout, every player standing, clapping, shouting encouragement. The coaches were smiling, though trying to stay composed. Even the bullpen pitchers were on their feet, celebrating the offensive onslaught that had just turned Game 2 into a masterpiece. What made this inning so remarkable wasn't just the number of runs. It was how every batter contributed. Singles, bunts, disciplined at bats, and that one towering home run, each piece fit perfectly into a picture of unity. It wasn't a solo effort, it was a team symphony. The fans chanted the team's slogan in perfect rhythm, waving banners that read, "All together, toward the championship." The phrase felt alive, embodied in that inning's performance. As the inning ended, the players returned to their positions to deafening applause. Even the defense seemed lighter, more confident. The pitcher took the mound again, now armed with a 6-run cushion. His fastballs suddenly had extra zip, his curve sharper, his presence stronger. Momentum had fully shifted. In the top of the third, the opponents tried to answer back, but every attempt was met with flawless defense. A diving stop at shortstop, a running catch in center, and the inning was over in a flash. The home crowd roared again, feeding on every out like it was another run. By the 4th inning, the rhythm of the game belonged entirely to one side. The hitters weren't done either, they continued to pressure, forcing long counts and mistakes. Even though no more runs came for a while, the psychological dominance was absolute. The other team could feel it, the weight of that 6-run eruption pressing down on every pitch. Dosukoi was shown again on the jumbotron, smiling in the dugout, helmet off, sweat dripping down his face. The replay of his home run played again, and the crowd reacted as if it had just happened. That swing had become the symbol of the night, a moment frozen in memory. Meanwhile, the pitcher on the home side kept dealing. He mixed his pitches beautifully, attacking the zone with confidence. Every strikeout drew roars, every groundout brought high fives. The team wasn't just ahead on the scoreboard, they were owning the moment. The sixth inning brought another spark when the leadoff man reached base again. Though no run scored that frame, the message was clear: this team wasn't coasting. They were relentless. The fans appreciated it, standing and clapping even after routine outs, knowing what they were witnessing was special. By the eighth inning, the crowd began chanting the closer's name, even though he wasn't yet warming up. The energy was that contagious. People sensed victory was near, but more than that, they felt united. The stadium had turned into a living, breathing organism, driven by pride and passion. When the final inning arrived, the defense locked in completely. 3 quick outs. The game was over, the final score a commanding victory sealed by that unforgettable second inning. Players threw their gloves in the air, hugging one another as the fireworks began to light up the dome. Reporters rushed onto the field, cameras flashing everywhere. The highlight of the night, of course, was the 6-run explosion and Do Sukhoi's unforgettable blast. Interviewed post-game, he smiled humbly and said, "It wasn't just me, it was everyone. We hit together, we believed together." Those words resonated far beyond the field. In that one inning, the team had embodied everything that makes baseball special: teamwork, timing, and trust. Every player had a role, every swing had meaning. Fans began filing out of the dome with smiles, some wiping tears, others still chanting as they walked into the cool Tokyo night. Parents lifted their children onto their shoulders, telling them they'd just seen a game they'd remember for life. Analysts later called it the inning of unity. A perfect example of what can happen when a team refuses to rely on one star and instead builds momentum together. That's what wins championships. The victory tied the series, but it also shifted the psychological balance entirely. The opponents knew they were up against more than just a good team, they were facing a united force. Even days later, highlights of that second inning played on television across Japan. The sight of that massive home run, the roar of the dome, and the dugout's eruption replayed endlessly. It became the defining image of the 2025 Japan series. As fans discussed every detail, the bunt, the hit, the home run, they all agreed on one thing: it was baseball at its purest form. Passion, precision, and pride. This wasn't just a game. It was a declaration. A reminder that in baseball, one inning can change everything, not just the scoreboard, but the spirit of an entire team. And as the players boarded the team bus that night, one phrase echoed in everyone's heart: all together, toward the championship. Because that's what the Japan series is all about, not just who wins, but how they win. And in Game 2 of the 2025 SMBC Japan series, they showed the entire nation exactly how it's done.